of his word. Bless ye the Lord, all ye his hosts, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Bless the Lord, all his works, in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Let the glory of your name be the passion of the church. Let the righteousness of God be a holy flame that burns. Let the saving love of Christ be the measure of our lives. We believe God holds to us.
So I'm thankful that each one of these people standing behind me, they were used by God on this trip. And again, lest you think, well, there's something different about them than about me. No, you can be used of God too. God has power that he can use any of us. We look at Scripture and see that God even used a donkey, okay, to speak his word. And so, if that's the case, which of us is out of the arm of God to be able to be used by him? And so, I'm thankful that we got to see God use us, again, not because of anything special about us, but just because it's something special about him. He uses those who are yielded to him.
I also want to acknowledge the young people who went with us, Brianna, Caleb, Hannah, and Sarah. You know, to take people that age, young adults, and to see how well they did there. No complaining, had fun, always happy and happy, and working with the kids. And I mean, they were, truly somebody that was an asset and not a liability.
When we got to the village, I was with my mom and Miss Gail talking to the ladies, and they were just very open and receptive, which is pretty neat seeing. And then the headman of that village also came, and he seemed to have a lot of knowledge about the Bible, but I don't know if he was actually saved or not. But he was talking to them, and it's just pretty cool. And I want to go back. I don't know if I will, but I want to. And it was an awesome experience, I'm sure.
Was just being at church on Sunday. It was literally amazing. I got to work with the kids, with Sarah and Caleb and Brianna, and just seeing how much they just wanted to learn about God and just hear your voice even was just amazing. I got to give my testimony, and even just teaching them songs was they wanted every bit of. They wanted to hear everything you could teach them, and it was just literally amazing.
Ready to hear and wanting to hear. When we went to the village and we were soul winning there, we would stop and talk to some people, and then the crowd really did gather around, and they all wanted to hear. And one time I was passing out sweets and a tract to people, and I ran out of the candy. And people were coming up to me still, and I was telling them I had any more candy, but they weren't asking for that. They were asking for the tract. And they went away happy and really reading it. And I know, the time we went to dinner at the Royal Livingston, and we leave the John Romans there, and we do that here with the tract. We leave the tract when you go out to eat, and you wonder if they read it and what happens. And in Zambia, we got to see what happens, and that he read it, and he told me that he was saving up for a Bible. He was just telling me that he wanted to read, and he was wanting to learn more.
This is really like Bible times here. There's no hostility at all towards Christianity that we ran into. I didn't see anybody at all that was, that wasn't willing to listen and was excited about us being there. They truly want us there. It isn't like you got to beg your way into a place. I mean, you have to get permission to show respect. But once you get in, they're totally open and interested in what you have to say. So.
We walked into that church, and just the way they worship the Lord, the music, the elderly women, the conditions that they came from. We don't come to church, if we go by the way the weather is. They just came in there and they just really worshiped the Lord. You could see how much they love the Lord, and they were hungry for God's words. To this one house, and there was 5 little boys sitting down, so Brianna sat down and I sat down, and Ron was standing there with, I think it was Charles, and Ron gave them the gospel, and they just like right there in the five of them just received the Lord, and we just kind of like went on, and there was just quite a few that received the Lord that day. It was amazing.
I mean, you know, that's one of the things that God really, for me, put into my heart this trip, and these men at Falls View, each and every one of them. I got the opportunity to pray with different ones of them, and they do cover those prayers that I mentioned before, and that's something that God really, really put on my heart this time. The different pastors there, how each and every one of them, God has put something on their heart to be in a different location. There's eight pastors here now. There's a couple of them going out into the different villages. A couple of them are going to go across town to start other churches that are, you know, that are there. And it's just, again, it's another thing that we get to see firsthand here. And that's a direct result of everything that we kind of doing here, the support that we're sending here, the prayers that we're sending over to.
Miss Chrissy had texted on our last day there and said, you know, so glad you guys are coming back. And I told her my heart is in two. Not only are the people so receptive to you and the Word of God, but they love you unconditionally. I think too many of us have hard hearts, and even us that we call ourselves Christians, our hearts are hard. And they're just so loving and so caring, and they have nothing. Like Miss Gail was saying, you know, 30 cents for them is a big deal. So I want to say to everybody who's here, $1, give them $1. When you hear them up here raising money for these pastors and for the church there, give your $1, give your 30 cents. It will go very far. This was very special as well. Like Pastor Justin was saying, having the chief there was an amazing thing, and that was all of God, because Pastor had run into somebody in the, you know, in Livingstone that day and was talking with them, and you really see that none of it is our planning, none of it is man's doing, it is all of God.
He allowed me to go on this trip. I was the original grouch. For about 9 days, I made possibly 3 mistakes. Number 1, this is not Disney. No, there is no planned, scheduled rides. There's no time for breakfast. I mean, it's all done on African time. I didn't bring the right shoes, which caused my feet to cramp a lot in London, because everybody decided to do the whole city in 3 hours. And I think the major reason I was grouchy is because I picked the day we were leaving to stop smoking. Good choice, bad choice. Good choice, I'm still not smoking.
Amen.
Bad choice, because I should have picked it 2 months before. The Word of God is precious to them. We went to that village. It was Pastor Luca, Pastor Teis, and myself. And it was these 3 ladies with these 3 or 4 little kids sitting on dirt. They gave them a place to sit. They got me a bucket. So I was thankful for it. Everything was for the visitor, not for themselves. And as they're bringing the Word of God, Pastor Teis is preaching. Brother Luca is drawing designs on the dirt there. You saw that in the video. I'm looking at these people, and they are fascinated by what's coming out. They are sitting raptured to the Word of God. And not one of them had a Bible. I believe Pastor got a few of them. This lady did not have one. He made a special effort to get her one. And when he finally gave her this book, the smile on her face was worth the whole trip.
I really believe that God's going to continue to have these trips grow. And as people through social media and other things have seen pictures of different things that we've put
put up. I've had already groups express desire to go. And I don't know what God wants to do with this moving forward. I just have kind of just trusted in His providence, because it's by His providence that we've gone. It's by His providence that Pastor Justin and I are working together. It's by His providence that the Warners are here. It's by His providence that He put in my heart to love that place. And so it's all God's providence. And God's providence is God's providence. And if God's providentially put us here together as a family, a church family, then He has a great purpose and reason for all of that. So let's not have our hearts so fixated on one area of the world and think that God only works there, as often we do as Americans here. And let's not go to another place and think that God is only working, or God is working in a better way there because it's a different way than it is here. But let's all come away with that God is working everywhere, at all times. He never stops. And the problem is not God. The problem is us.
The world is